Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Denise. I am a first-time mom to my 4-month-old daughter, and I've basically just been on a social media journey these past couple of months and posting all about my experience with being a first-time mom while also trying to find myself again and do things that I love, which is posting on social media and creating content. Now that I am officially 4 months postpartum, I have been doing a lot of reflecting and looking back because I feel like I have grown so much these past couple of months, more than I ever have in my life, and I have learned a lot of things that I wanted to share with you guys. So I thought it would be a perfect time to do a 10 things that I wish I knew about motherhood video, because I feel like a lot of these topics may help out other first-time moms, and these are topics that you don't really think about when you first find out that you're pregnant, especially if you're a first-time mom. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into them. Not even gonna lie, this is my second time shooting this video. The first time that I shot this video, I feel like it was just all over the place to the point where I wasn't really making sense and it was really painful to edit. So I decided to just reshoot the video and just be a little bit more detailed with my answers. So I wrote down all of my 10 points on my phone and I put specific talking points on them. So I'm gonna try to stay on track with my different topics. So starting with my first thing that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is how fast your life changes instantly after you see that positive pregnancy test. And this may seem like a no-brainer, but it's one of those things where you just have to experience it. You basically go through different stages. So obviously at first you're completely in shock because you now know that you have a living little person inside of you. Like as soon as you see that positive pregnancy sign, there is no going back. Everything changes from there. If you don't already have one, you're going to have to find an OBGYN that is going to be with you throughout your whole pregnancy. You're going to have to schedule all of your doctor's appointments. You're going to start telling all of your friends and your family and figure out how to tell them. You're going to start planning for your gender reveal. You're going to start buying little baby things. You're going to start creating their nursery room if they do have one. Not just that, but your body won't be the same anymore. Like your body is now constantly changing from the first trimester to the second trimester to the third. So again, from the moment that you find out that you're pregnant, everything both physically and mentally completely changes. A second thing that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is to take the 4th trimester as serious as the other trimesters. So if you didn't already know, there are actually 4 trimesters within your pregnancy, and each trimester is about 12 weeks long. But when people think about trimesters, you obviously think about a trimester during the time that you're pregnant. I feel like, speaking from experience, I didn't necessarily take that 4th trimester as serious. And I just wish that I would have been more gentle and given myself more grace during that 4th trimester. Because that 4th trimester is all about recovering from giving birth, especially if you had complications. And it's all about taking life slow, bonding with your baby, and just getting accustomed to your new life. And I feel like I was just so focused on bouncing back and just trying so hard to feel normal again, to the point where honestly it was such a blur. I don't remember a lot of my 4th trimester. I feel like I was just in pure survival mode. So yeah, I just wish that I would have been more gentle with myself and just soaked it all in. And I feel like this is the experience for a lot of first-time moms. I feel like we try to rush through that newborn phase, and then once you look back, you just wish that you would have soaked in those little moments a little bit longer. So yeah, 4th trimester is super important, not just physically but mentally as well. Make sure that you're getting enough rest. Make sure that you're taking your vitamins, make sure that you're staying hydrated, and just give yourself grace because you have just given birth, and take that 4th trimester to just soak it all in. So that's just some advice that I wish I would have given myself before coming into this, because like I mentioned, I feel like my 4th trimester was just very rushed and I don't remember a lot of it. On that same topic, the third thing that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that it's okay to mourn your old life. Like I mentioned, once you have your baby, even before that, as soon as you find out that you're pregnant, your whole life changes. But you still have 9 months to prepare for this new baby to come into your home and actually become a mother. So once that happens, it's like a complete culture shock. You're completely living a whole new different life, and it is okay to mourn your old life. Again, I feel like in this society nowadays, we're so pressured to just immediately bounce back and feel like normal again. But unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. Like, your normal is not going to be normal again because your life changed. You are now a mom and you almost have this new sense of identity. And yeah, it's a whole process and it's not something that happens overnight. You definitely have to give it time. So by all means, do not feel pressured to bounce back anytime soon. And you guys, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and all of the hormonal changes that happen after giving birth is no joke. And these are things, by the way, that you are not even in control of. I used to be the type of person that would think all the time, why would I get sad once my baby's here? Like, I am not the type of person to get the baby blues or all of these crazy things that I was thinking in my head when I was pregnant. Like, there's no way that I could experience that. And let me just tell you, I experienced every single symptom in the book. So yeah, the hormonal changes are literally no joke. And a lot of times moms start to think, what did I get myself into? Especially if you're a first-time mom. So don't let that scare you. Again, just let yourself mourn your old life, and it's okay to feel sad. The fourth thing that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that you will go through a roommate phase with your partner, specifically during the newborn stage. And this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you guys being on different pages or your relationship not being strong enough. It's literally just the fact that both of you guys are individually getting used to being parents for the first time. So you can be on the same page literally about anything and everything while you guys are together. But once you actually have a baby and you're actually living through it, especially for the first time, it is hard because it is not just you as a mom, it is also your partner who just became a father. And both of you are trying to be parents for the first time. You guys are trying to be there for each other and trying to be there for this baby. And yeah, not only do you have to balance this new relationship with your baby, you also have to balance your relationship together as a couple being first-time parents. So you are going to go through a roommate phase. You are going to bicker about things that literally don't even matter. But I feel like that quickly fades away as soon as you start getting into a new routine and you kind of start getting the hang of things. And it is honestly just temporary. And I feel like your relationship actually becomes a lot stronger afterwards. So the fifth thing that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom, and this is probably the biggest one, is how difficult it was for me to accept the fact that I was the primary parent. And honestly, this is one that I hadn't heard about from anyone else during the time that I was pregnant, especially as a person that would literally search up any given question that pops into my head. This topic did not come up once. So when you have a family, there is always a primary parent, whether that's the mom or the dad. Typically it is the mom, but you know, it could go both ways. There's always one primary parent that is the primary caretaker of your baby. Give me 1 second. Ronnie just woke up from her nap and she's crying. Please ignore Ronnie's hair. She just woke up from a nap. What was I saying? Okay, so there's always a primary parent within a family that usually feels like they're picking up the slack from the other parent. And I didn't even know that this was a thing until I joined a support group with the hospital that I had given birth at. And I remember one of the girls was sharing about how she was feeling, and she said that it was really difficult for her to accept the fact that she was the primary parent in the relationship. And that's kind of when it clicked that I was victimizing myself a little bit too much. And for some reason, I just felt upset at the fact that I was the primary parent. I felt like my partner's life didn't change as dramatically as mine did. And I just felt like I was victimizing myself because I had spent the last 9 months pregnant. I had just given birth. We didn't really have a village to help us out. And I feel like I was just so angry. And that was one of the things that I had realized as well, that I was pretty much dealing with postpartum rage. And yeah, I feel like one of the things that I just had to do was accept the fact that I was the primary parent in our family, and I loved it. I don't know why, it was just one of those things that it was really hard for me to wrap my head around, and one of the things that I really didn't expect to experience going into motherhood. Number 6 on things I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that your village doesn't just have to be your family. So just to give you guys some context, all of my family lives in Northern California. I do have a pretty small family and we're all very close, but unfortunately they don't have the luxury to come and visit often. So really the only times that we actually see each other would be on special occasions or holidays throughout the years. And then I'm not going to share my boyfriend's side because that is his story to tell, but yeah, we knew that basically our village was just going to be us two. So it actually took me a while to realize that your village doesn't just have to be your family. Your village can be your close friends. It can be a community that you're a part of, whether that's a church group, a mommy group, things like that. Again, I feel like the first couple of months that I was postpartum, I was victimizing myself a little bit too much because I didn't have that village. My mom did come for a week after I gave birth, but after that, it was just basically us three. And I remember my best friend would text me every single day. She would ask if I needed help with anything around the house, if I needed some sleep, she can watch over the baby. But looking back at it, I don't know why I said no. Same thing with my church community group. I was actually a part of a mother community group within my church, and after I gave birth, a lot of them reached out to me. They offered to come over and help. They basically asked me, hey, what do you need from us, and we will be there for you. But again, I kind of just denied whatever they were offering me, and I don't know why I did that, because I know that in the time I did need the help and mentally I was so checked out. But I think in my head I was just thinking, no, my village is not here, which is my family. But yeah, this is just your reminder that you do have people out there that love you and care about you, and it doesn't always have to be your immediate family. So my biggest piece of advice is let people help you out, and it is okay to let your guard down a little bit. Okay, I talked about this one a little bit earlier in the video, but number 7 of 10 things that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that you are not going back to normal. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but there is no going back to normal, because you're not going back to your normal life. Like, even your body physically is not going to be the same anymore. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're never going to love yourself again and you can't work towards your dream body. It just means that the body that you had pre-pregnancy just won't be there anymore. So yeah, I just wish that I wouldn't have been so hard on myself and trying to feel like normal again, because in reality, there is no going back to normal. And I feel like a lot of mothers can relate that as soon as you give birth, you are a whole new different person. Like, the mom I am today is nothing like the person that I was last year. And you might have a different perspective on things and a different outlook on life, and it's honestly such a beautiful thing. Number 8 of things that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that you don't have to feel guilty for having boundaries. And I feel like this is something that I'm still working on till this day with my family. Coming specifically from a Mexican household, I feel like I'm raising my daughter differently than my mom raised my niece and my nephew. And this is something that I struggle with even though I'm hours away from my mom. But yeah, the few times that we all have been together and planning for the times that she will be taking care of her in the future, it is hard. It is hard to set boundaries, but I refuse to let myself feel guilty about it, because at the end of the day, that is my daughter. And the way that you raise your baby is going to look differently than the way that other moms raise their baby. So definitely don't feel bad for setting boundaries for the way that you do things with your baby, because at the end of the day, you're their mom and you know what's best, and there's no reason to feel guilty about that. Number 9 of things I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is to embrace motherhood instead of victimizing yourself. And I feel like this specifically applies for stay-at-home moms, because when you're a stay-at-home mom, I feel like you can easily go into this loophole about victimizing yourself, being a stay-at-home mom, and basically being in charge of all the chores and being, again, the primary caretaker of the family and feeling like no one else is helping you out. And it is so easy to fall into that victim mindset. And I honestly feel like that's what I did the first couple of months. I feel like I didn't grow as a person and as a mom until I shifted my mindset and I started embracing my journey into motherhood and my journey into being a stay-at-home mom. Because if you don't, you could easily become miserable. So I always make sure to remind myself every single day what a privilege it is to even be a stay-at-home mom, what a privilege it is to not have to take my daughter to daycare or to hire a babysitter to raise my daughter instead of myself, what a privilege it is that I get to stay home and take care of my home and make home cooked meals for my partner and I. This is just one of those things that I wish I would have done earlier in my postpartum journey, because it would have made it so much more enjoyable. But here I am 4.5 months later, and if you're going to take anything from this video, I think this is the most important piece of information, is to embrace your journey and not fall into the victim mentality, because that's just going to make your whole motherhood journey and your postpartum journey that much harder. And last but not least, the 10th thing I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom is that you're actually going to be more excited for your future and your career after you become a mom. I feel like people will hear a lot from other moms that are bitter that once you have children, you're not gonna have time for anything else anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, this scared me at first, because I was told by a few other people the same thing, that I'm not gonna have time for anything else anymore. I'm never gonna be able to travel again. My career is gonna go down the drain. And basically anything that I desired or aspired to do is out the window. But please hear it from me that that is absolutely not the case, because speaking from experience, I've never been more motivated or inspired for my future and my career until after having my daughter. Yeah. We've actually traveled more these past couple of months than we have throughout our whole relationship. We are about to go to Hawaii in 3 weeks. Like I was saying, we're actually about to go to Hawaii in 3 weeks. And then we are planning a family trip in the summer as well. And I have a lot planned this year for things that I want to do within social media and just things that I am super excited about within my future. And same thing goes with my partner. I feel like our baby didn't stop us from doing anything that we wanted to do in life or go anywhere that we wanted to go. It more so motivated us to do the things that we want to do for her. So yeah, those were 10 things that I wish I knew about motherhood as a first-time mom. I hope that you enjoyed hearing these, and I hope that it was somewhat helpful to you as well, especially if you are expecting or hope to be a mom in the future. Let me know if you guys want a part 2, or let me know if you want a 10 things I wish I knew about being pregnant, because I have a lot of those as well. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.